Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Welcome to the family. I am honored to have you here. If you're returning, welcome back. I have missed you. I've missed all of you guys. So I want to say a big, huge thank you. I have so much gratitude for all the people in this community, for the love and the support and the understanding, especially with, the stuff that comes up with my health and things that can kind of delay some of the readings coming out. I really genuinely appreciate your guys' compassion and grace and patience with me navigating through it. And I also very much appreciate the empathy and sympathy that you all have shown me regarding me sharing pieces of my medical journey with you. Now, with all that being said, today is a very special reading. We are channeling the, sorry, my throat is a little bit dry still. We are channeling the Celestial Angel Collective. We all kind of gather our own information, our own awarenesses of different starseed collectives, different deities, different energies, different ascended masters. There may be some form of uniformity with all of it, with the information out there, but when we begin working with different collectives and different energies, the experience itself is quite subjective. And I mention this because when this was a topic suggested to me, I believe it was from the Quirky Healer. When this was suggested to me, there was like a light that went on inside of me. This makes sense to me. Because this is a collective that has a lot of ambiguity. It has a lot of paradoxical energy. This is the essence of the both and energy. And when I was sitting there and tapping into it, I kept seeing this scene from the movie The Abyss, where they're at the bottom of the ocean and the pressure should have killed him, but he was rescued. And what he was rescued by is what they were calling an alien, but it was just a light being. It was a light being that had the ability to manipulate elements such as water in order to manifest and to connect. And at the same time, this being lived at the bottom of the ocean and very separated from humanity. And I just kept seeing these light, they almost looked like like the ship from The Flight of the Navigator. I don't know if any of you know that reference, but they were showing me themselves in that kind of form where they just kind of soar around everywhere. And because they have existed in all times, in all places, in all spaces, in every different form that we could ever fathom and many that we can't, they are an energy that is connected yet separate. And that is the energy that they have brought forth to me for me to connect with you guys. So a lot of this has to do with how we feel about our connection with the outside world, how we feel we belong within the world, within our community, within our families. And sometimes we can feel like the black sheep. And I understand that feeling very intimately. And then we can go through this spiritual awakening and hear about different starseeds and hear about different religions and different belief systems and this and that. And we can find a lot of resonance in a lot of different places. And instead of aiding us in feeling more connected with each other and connected to the divine, it can actually feed into that loneliness. If I resonate with all of these things, then where do I actually belong? Because we seek to simplify belonging. This collective is that energy of the simplification of belonging through belonging everywhere rather than only in specific areas. They belong everywhere because they understand that everywhere is somewhere and somewhere is nowhere and nowhere is everywhere. And that may be confusing because a lot of what I pick up from them is it's very mystic energy. But I just heard those that get it, get it. And if you don't understand, allow yourself to sit with it for a bit. What does it mean to belong everywhere and somewhere and nowhere and have all these things interconnected? It's like I'm seeing a Venn diagram of just the circles of these things. This is a collective that when I first tapped into them, they made it very clear to me that what they do is travel throughout everything. And they come to us when we need them. It's like the blink of an eye and they're there. But they're here not necessarily like guardian angels, even though there is a bit of that vibe. They're not here to be guardian angels to protect us. We have guardian angels for that. They're here to help us understand duality, dichotomy, paradoxical energies, to help us understand that we seek to label, to narrow, to specify. And instead, we could expand until those things don't really matter anymore. And what matters is being. And they want to help us to be in a state of being. So with all that being said, we do have 4 piles. When I sat down and I'm working with this new deck, The Oracle of the Universe by Stacey DeMarco. And guys, FYI, she is one of my favorites. I absolutely love her work. It's amazing. When I sat down and started shuffling them, it all came out as constellations. And I loved that because we all have this awareness of the constellations, but this is not necessarily about the zodiac signs. It's about the energy of the constellations, the formation, and the lessons written within them. So it helps us understand that it is both and. And we also have Astro Day. So we have pile 1 has the card and the constellation of Sagittarius. Pile 2 has the card and constellation of Aries. Pile 3 has the card and constellation of Gemini, and pile 4 has the card and constellation of Perseus. I'm going to go ahead and put on some meditation music for you guys. Allow yourselves to open up, become receptive, allow yourself to be guided, trust your intuition, trust your guides, and I will see you at your piles. Hello, pile 1. If you chose Sagittarius, this is your message from the Celestial Angel Collective. This Sagittarius card, we're going to start off right away. It's the number 9, and it has the word acclaim on it. And I'm going to go ahead and show this to you. And you can see all the fireworks. The first thing that came through was going back to the origin of the word acclaim. And it is a word that means to shout, to cry out, to support. It's a word that we use oftentimes. I guess for me, I think about like critically acclaimed movies or books or whatnot. It's when the people who are the most critical, the people who are the most judgmental, the people who are there to establish the validity of something, tell the whole world, this is amazing, this is awesome. I'm reading a book series called The Lorien Legacies, and I've read it before, and I love it. Love it. 10 out of 10 would recommend. And I think it's the third book. They talk about one of the parents of the children and how he was seen as a recluse because he felt wronged by his own people. He felt as though he had lost standing, and it had to do with his family line. And so there was a woman who was assigned to just keep an eye out for him. And she had this amazing power of being able to work with electricity and light. And every night she would put on a fireworks display or a lightning display for him. And in her own way, she was bridging the gap between him feeling wronged and feeling as though he wasn't getting the credit that he deserved and his family wasn't getting the credit he deserved, and coming back into the fold of his own people. The Sagittarius card itself, it talks about how the centaur that we see up in the sky invented archery, which was a game changer in the world because now you can hunt and protect yourself and defend yourself. And we also look at that as metaphorical with, our progress and our mission here in life. And sometimes we are in that energy of the arrow where we don't realize because we're being pulled back. So it feels like things are falling apart and it feels like things are going wrong. But it's the pull back before the launch forward. And the key to that is recognizing that you have the ability to cry out or speak out into existence the life that you desire to live, the life that you desire to experience. And no one has the right to tell you that what you desire or what you are claiming for your life is not possible or not meant for you, because it comes from your heart and it comes from your soul. And with Sagittarius and the 9th house and that kind of zodiacal energy, there's an energy of ever changing, ever fluctuating, passionate, purposeful living, the desire to expand, to become aware, to experience, to learn, to grow. But there's a caution here. And I recently went through my own kind of revelation in this area. There's a caution here about whether or not you view what you do as being worthy of being honored and seen, and whether you're moving from a state. Can you help me word this properly? Okay. Sometimes in life we misdirect our desires because we don't recognize that there is an underlying wound. And when we create or we share certain things with the world, when we invent something, when we reinvent ourselves, we can have this strong desire to have external validation for what we have done for ourselves and for the world. And while I believe that external validation is very helpful and useful with building confidence and assurance and helping people to navigate through life in a way that is fulfilling for both themselves and others, sometimes we don't realize that we put a value on our worth that is based upon the receptivity of other people out in the world. For me, I realized the hard way that I had staked a lot of whether I was worthy or whether I was good enough or whether I was doing the right thing or achieving the right thing. I staked a lot of that based upon what validation I received from the outside world for what I was creating and what I was doing. And when things didn't go as far and, gain as much attention as I had hoped, I would feel like a failure. And it took me a very long time before I realized that it had nothing to do with the outside world. It had nothing to do with the things that I was creating, nor did it have to do with success or failure or an essential sense of self-worth even. It had to do with where it was that I was seeking validation and the reason why I was seeking that validation. This is about you recognizing that your own personal validation is not just more than enough. It is the literal 2 thumbs up by Siskel and Ebert. It's the highest level that you can gain is your own validation, your own approval of yourself. And it can be hard. It can be a challenge to do that because what if that just comes off as egotistical? What if I constantly validate myself and so I build myself into this huge belief that I'm so worthy and capable and loved and creative and successful, and it's all just a fallacy. It's all just an illusion. We can have those fears and that's normal, but it's about coming directly face to face with those fears and saying, okay, is this really what I'm feeling? Is this fear here because of this or that? And really evaluate it. It's about really looking into what it is that's causing you to feel that way, because oftentimes we'll find that it sources from some sort of lack of support in our childhood or throughout our life in some way, shape, or form. So we'll roll the dice at the end. I want to get into the tarot cards because I feel like that there's more here. Okay, so we have the 9 of Swords in reverse, the World in reverse, and Temperance upright. And Temperance is Sagittarius energy, which I love that it's here. The more that, okay, the more that we hold on to the doubts and the negative mindsets and the almost subconscious, I mean, it feels like a subconscious urge to have someone else tell us how we are doing, whether we are worthy, whether we are enough, whether we are, doing the right thing, honoring ourselves, what have you. The more that we continue to look for that in the external world, the longer we actually keep ourselves in a more stuck state. So the 9 of Swords is the card of anxiety and worry and stress and depression. But it oftentimes, and especially with the Rider-Waite-Smith cards, it shows somebody in bed, but the swords are on the wall over their head. And so they're sitting in bed and they're worrying, well, what if these swords fall on me while I'm asleep? Should I take them down off the wall? Should I leave them there? Like I put them there, but should I remove them? What if this? What if that? And they're going through all of these different scenarios and possibilities in their head. When we take a step back and we look at what is my mind doing? What is it telling me? What is it teaching me? How is it hindering me? How is it helping me? What we're doing is we're really getting into the finer details, the minutia of our base motivations. And in that way, the Celestial Angel Collective want you to know that the cycle that you want to end ends with you when you see that you don't have to endure any longer the mindset or the belief system that anyone has the power to tell you your worthiness above and beyond yourself. When you realize that you are part of the whole, when you realize that you contain all this magic and all this wisdom within yourself. I look at this Temperance card and it's like all of the electricity that turns into the fireworks over here is contained within the self, which means that you have the ability to do this. And sometimes it's the people who are the quietest about their successes who truly understand the nature of expansion, who truly understand that an essential sense of self-worth is not something that has to be validated. And it definitely is not something that you have to justify feeling. You have the ability to alchemize all of these different energies, to pull them into one. And I'm hearing like, don't be alarmed by the world being in reverse, because I know a lot of times with the world in reverse, we can fear like, oh my gosh, like I'm not ending this cycle. I'm stuck. You're not stuck and you're not stagnant. I don't feel any stuck or stagnant energy. What I feel is, it's like a shift of energy. It's this notion or expression that is waiting to come forth out of you so that you realize that some of these things are not about ending cycles and beginning a new chapter or anything like that. Sometimes it's just about transmuting some part of yourself so that your essential nature can come through. I hope that makes sense. So let's find out what they want you to know as far as the moon messages. So we have last quarter moon in Scorpio, reveal what needs to be seen. And then last quarter moon in Leo, lighten up. So you have 2 third quarter moons, and they're both in fixed signs. Scorpio and Leo are both fixed sign energy. And when we are navigating with fixed sign energy, and especially with the third quarter moon, because the third quarter moon is about us reflecting, looking at what it is that we have set intentions for, what we have created, what we have met halfway in the middle with the universe on, and what needs tweaking, what needs more awareness, what needs more growth, what needs more processes or navigation through. It's a deeply introspective energy because we're heading towards that new moon where the night sky is dark because the moon and the sun are traveling together. So revealing what needs to be seen and lightening up. This is saying when you choose to see that the swords that are hanging over your head are fixed to the wall, or even they're just a painting on the wall. So they're not actually real swords, but our mind creates them into a state of reality. When you do that and you reveal that part, that truth, that it's just your mind playing tricks on you. And our minds do that. And there's no shame at all that should be felt for that. And I empathize so deeply if that's something that you have experienced, because I know that oftentimes when I have high anxiety, I feel an accompanying high level of shame because I feel like I'm stronger than this. I know better than this, all of that. But sometimes life just happens. Sometimes life just happens. This collective wants you to realize that you can happen to life instead of life happening to you. You can make this change without having to end something, let go of something. You can simply shift it into a completely different state. Energy is never created. It's never destroyed. It simply is. It transforms. It changes. It is existence. Each and every one of us are made up of billions and billions of different energy particles just flying through. Sorry if you guys can hear Willow. She's being sassy. She does this with Sagittarius energy. We're all made of this light energy, and we concentrate it down into our physical form, but we still contain it within ourselves. And if we contain it, then we can actually transform the energy rather than seeking to rid ourselves of it. We can transform it into something that is beautiful and brilliant and awe-inspiring. But it's up to you to do that. It's up to you to say, okay, I need to look into my own mind. I need to look into my own heart, into my own soul. I need to look at where I'm actually holding myself back. Where am I hindering myself? Where am I not hearing myself or not valuing myself or not validating myself? Why am I doing that? What purpose is this holding for me? And then look at the fact that you're not alone in this. And sometimes laughter really is the best medicine. And I know it's cliche to say, but when we're going through really challenging times, laughter is so deeply healing. My mom is going through breast cancer right now. And her and I were on the phone for about an hour last Friday. And we just were joking and laughing about kind of the absurdity of everything, but also about, different memories of my grandma and this and that. And we found ourselves laughing. And I was like, well, I'm really glad that you can laugh about this. And she's like, well, if I don't, if I don't, then it just kind of bottles up. She's like, I never really thought about it, but it is absolutely true. Like, laughter is the best medicine. And so we can get so laden down with these pains and these wounds and these mindsets and this struggle. And in this life, there is a lot of struggle. To deny that or to negate that would be a disservice to everyone in the world. Yes, this world is full of struggle. It's up to us for how we want to deal with it. And you have this amazing alchemical ability to transmute and transform things. And if that doesn't make sense, I get it kind of like, well, what do you mean? I mean, look at your mindset of worry for a moment and think about what it means. So say, for instance, you're worrying about a snowstorm. A snowstorm is going to come in and you're worrying about that. Do you have all the right supplies? Is the power going to go out? Do you need a shovel or a snowblower? All of these things that accompany a big snowstorm. Now you're supposed to take a trip the day that the snowstorm is supposed to hit. What if the roads are closed? And you see how it builds and it moves. And now what you're being asked to look at is what's the underlying source of this. And the underlying source of something like that, and this is just an example, guys, is a lack of control. A lack of control over the situation. You can't determine what is going to happen because it's not for you to determine, and weather is quite unpredictable. So it could be just a slight flurry, or it could just dump, 15 inches, which is what we got. But when you recognize that the underlying factor here is a sense that you do not have control over something, then ask yourself, what do I have control over? What do I have control over? That way you're bringing yourself back into a state of awareness of your own power. And the more that you do that, the more that you realize, okay, what is my contingency plan? What is my plan B? If I can't take this trip that I need to take because the roads are closed, there's this big storm, how can I shift this and change it? What can I do to rearrange things? And sometimes that's all we have to do is realize, okay, I could keep going down this mental spiral and keep crashing things down, like this world card, keep crashing things down. Or I can choose to look at this and say, okay, how can I change this for the better? How can I make this something more? How can I invent a new journey, a new trip, a new whatever? How can I do these things? And then you set that intention and you do that. And the more that you do that, the more that you're allowing yourself to see the layers underneath And in doing that, you're actually lifting the burden off of yourself. And that in all of that, throughout that process, no one has to witness it for it to be valid. No one has to witness it for you to truly have that level of mental fortitude and emotional intelligence in order for you to overcome these mentalities and recognize what the source is. No one. Because your angels see it and spirit sees it and your ascended masters see it. The celestial angel collective see it. Your higher self sees it. You see it. And so you can use that as a, you know what? I transformed this time. And when a situation comes around where it triggers that same reactionary tendency, you can say, you know what? I recognize this. I know how to transform this. And over time, when you do that, the world begins to notice. The world begins to see and to witness because you're doing it in a way that is incredibly humble, but incredibly authentic. What they will witness is the change within you. What they will witness is how you have lightened up, how you have become more aware, and the value that they see in what you can help them with grows exponentially as well. And therefore, validation becomes symbiotic. You validate yourself, you validate others, others validate you, they validate themselves, and we start building up the truth of our own sense of self-worth through realizing our own empowerment and helping others do that. So I'm just going to roll the dice here for some final messages for you guys. And I did want to mention, you guys are very unique because I was led to these 3 die specifically. Like every time I tried to put another die out, something would happen. Like I had stuff crash off my desk. I couldn't find the right die. My dog was like whining and being incessant and then started chasing my cat, and one of the cords over in my filming area got ripped off. So I kept trying to change it. It really was not letting me. And the reason why I mentioned that is because 2 of these die have the same faces. They're both the zodiac signs. Wow, my brain just was like really sluggish. So we're working with 2 different zodiac signs and a house. And that is incredibly specific to this pile only. So in that sense, I do want to mention Sagittarius is the galactic center of the universe, as we know it. I mean, it might not be, but as we are aware on scientific terms right now, which means that for you to feel called to this card, it makes you incredibly unique. And it means that you have a very, very strong tie to the stars. And it's okay if that frustrates you. It's okay if that scares you. It's okay if that makes you feel hesitant. But it's also okay if that makes you feel more alive by knowing, oh my gosh, I'm connected to the center of all things, because you are. And so your own uniqueness is what you should be acclaiming here. Wow, I love that message for you guys. All right, so we have Aries, Gemini, and the 4th house, which is funny because we have the 1st, the 3rd, and the 4th house. These, you might have placements in the 4th house that are interacting with Aries or Gemini. You could have Gemini or Aries in your 4th house. Either way, what this is telling me is this is about going down to the root. This is about going down to the foundation of your belief systems. What were you taught as a child? Were you taught that you can be what you want to be? Were you taught to empower yourself? Were you taught to express yourself and understand that you can express yourself in a multitude of ways? Because with Aries and Gemini combined, that's an energy of cardinal fire and mutable air. So your mind can change really fast. But with that really quick mindset change or whatever, you have the inner power and authority to take action, to initiate. But if our root is unstable, then we're going to feel as though we're constantly fighting to be heard rather than allowing ourselves to speak truth and to trust with a sense of certainty that what we're speaking is meant to be heard, will be heard, and we don't have to push and push and push or scream at the top of our lungs. So it's about going back down to the root and understanding that, yes, you are more than just what you seem. You contain more than that. You're capable of more than that. But change starts with the individual. Change starts at home. Change starts with each one of us. And that is how we are meant to navigate. You have the ability to do this. It's written within your DNA. It's coded within your soul. When you choose to see it, when you choose to reveal that to yourself, watch as the lights come back. Watch as the stars twinkle again and fireworks pop and display all the time. Watch all the lights that are around you and how the colors speak to your soul and uplift you. Because when you do this, you become more light. And you have always had this within you. You've always had it within you. Okay, pile one. This is a message that I have for you guys from the Celestial Angel Collective. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides, my guides, the Great Spirit. And thank you very much to the Celestial Angel Collective for connecting with me, working with me so that I may channel these messages forth for the collective that they are trying to reach. It is truly a blessing and an honor. I truly hope that this message is warmly received by all those who are meant to receive it in pile one, so that they may feel their own power awakening, coming back online, and expanding within themselves. May they see their worth, their value, and their true beauty. Thank you. Pile one, if this resonated and you want to show some support and some love for my channel, I truly appreciate that. Ways that you can do that are by, sorry guys. Ways that you can do that are by liking this video. You can comment in the comment section below, subscribe to my channel. You can also go to my description box. There are links to donate to my channel there if you feel called. There are also links to my Amazon author page. There are 9 books available out there on Amazon. They're available in hardcover, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. So go check those out. Pile one, I love you guys so much. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, pile two. If you chose the second card, the Aries card, this is your message from the Celestial Angel Collective. So I'm still dealing with a bit of laryngitis, so please bear with me. If I have to clear my throat or anything like that, I do apologize if it gets too loud. With Aries, this card talks about motivation. And your message, your energy came through so clearly, so quickly. It is about motivation, but more than just the word motivation. What gets you going? What lights a fire within you? What are underlying motivations for certain actions, beliefs, reactions that you have? When we are working in the realm of motivation, we can sometimes mistake it for determination. Determination is when you know where you're going and you know that there are going to be obstacles. You know there are going to be challenges because there always are. And yet you are 100% certain about your path, your purpose, your destiny, your whatever it is, creative endeavor. You're getting this promotion. You're getting into this college. You are 100% committed to that and you are determined to get there. And you use that determination to help fuel you. What we're talking about is motivation. Motivation predates, is that the word I want to use? Spirit. We're going to go with predates. Motivation comes before determination. But sometimes our underlying motivation that we're operating through is not what we think it is. When we are creating something with the intention of it, expressing it in the world, sharing it with the world, what is the purpose? What is the intention? The intention is the motivation. So I was talking in therapy the other day about a creation that I want to do. And I told her, I said, the question that I keep asking myself is, am I doing this because of a genuine belief that this will help others? Or am I doing this because it's easier to help others than it is to help myself a lot of the time? And so I can easily slip into the fixer energy or the guide, the advisor energy, because I get frustrated when I come into contact with my own internal blockages in a way. And that's a massive way of spiritually bypassing. And I recognize that I do it, but I still struggle with it. And my therapist looked at me and she goes, that's one of the most existential questions I've ever heard. And I was like, well, I want to make sure that when I'm creating from the right energy. I'm creating from the right space, the right mindset, with a purity of intention and a motivation for this energy or this intention, because I know clearly how it is meant to help others. And she said, well, what if you were doing it not just to help others, but also to help yourself? And it was a perspective that I wouldn't have ever thought of for myself. I can get that perspective to other people so often, but I had the hardest time giving it to myself. And it brought so much clarity. It opened up my mind to looking at everything that I do in a completely different way. Over the past couple of months, me being here on this channel, the readings that I've done, the channeling that I'm doing, the resonance and the comments and everything, the growth, the support, everything, it has been so affirming for me, but it also is so healing for me, because I am able to be my authentic self. I am able to express myself. I am able to use my gifts to help others, but also it helps me. And I had such huge emotional blockages this year from so many things that have happened in my life that I needed someone else to bring in that perspective, so that I knew moving forward, now I understand. Now I understand the base motivation. Now I understand the purpose and the value and the intent of things on a deeper level. That is what is being brought to light for you. If your motivation is for self-fulfillment, it does not make you selfish. It doesn't make you wrong. It means that you recognize that self-fulfillment, self-actualization, individuation, it's a noble and worthy cause, and it is crucial for helping humanity as a whole. And not a lot of people that I've come into contact with have seen it in that way, because we get caught up on the ego and we get caught up on selflessness versus selfishness. And we have all of this disdain in society saying, well, you have to think about everybody else and you have to consider this. I mean, even growing up in the 90s, we were told you have to eat all your food. There are starving children in China. Like, it was just like a common thing that we heard all the time. We never stopped to think about whether that's true, but that was always the reason why. Like, you have to do this because other people are suffering and you have this luxury. So it is a disrespect or disgraceful to everybody else in the world for you to not do this thing. And it's like a subtle form of manipulation, to be honest, but it skews what our motivations are when we grow up that way. When we hear those things, it skews our motivation because we negate ourselves too often, because we don't think that we are worthy of that kind of attention because we live in this way or we grew up this way. And it's a comparison game that builds this kind of sense of fear that if you are not focusing on doing what is right because other people are suffering and you not doing this means that you're contributing to their suffering, it motivates, it creates a fear-based motivation rather than an authentic motivation, a genuine desire and purpose that you can fuel into that determination to go and create, to go and do this, to go and achieve this, to actualize yourself. Not everyone is going to understand you, and that's okay. Not everyone is going to see the world the way that you do, nor will they see you for your own authenticity. That is okay. When someone else comes at you and says, you're only motivated by money, you're motivated by greed, you're motivated by a need to be praised, you're motivated by this or that, what they're saying to you has nothing to do with you. And it's hard to learn that lesson, but it's true. Because when the world comes back at you and says, this is what your motivation is, and you know the motivation, the underlying motivation is something completely different, you can recognize in that moment that what they're saying is, you doing this for yourself is triggering me because I'm moving out of these motivations that I'm accusing you of, and I don't know how to change it. But I see you changing it, and it makes me feel unsteady, unsafe, unworthy. And so instead of going into my own self-evaluation, I'm going to try and project that onto you. And in that situation, then we can give those people a lot of grace, a lot of compassion, a lot of empathy, because we know it's really hard to dive into the self, and it's hard to evaluate these things and be honest. And you can help them understand that they have the capabilities that you have within themselves as well. So let's take a look at the tarot cards and see what more they want to talk about. So we've got the Four of Cups reversed, the Ace of Pentacles, the King of Wands, and finally we have the Eight of Swords. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I especially like the Eight of Swords being at the end, because this particular Eight of Swords is there's more to it in energetic terms. What they want you to know is, can you help me articulate this energy? When we are motivated by sadness, running away from it, we can plant the seeds, we can step into our power, but we're still going to end up trapped. And that's a hard message to hear. That is a hard message for me to give, because it sucks. But when we go back down to the base and we realize the part of us that we're trapping, the part of us that we're trapping is the part that is in fear that your motivations aren't pure. But that's because of the hardship that you've suffered. When you realize that the hardships, the suffering, the pain, the anguish, the struggle, when you realize that those are the seeds that you plant for your greatest growth, they are your motivational pieces. They're motivating you to be different, to step forward. What needs to be balanced out is your ability to receive. Because the more that you reject, the more you lock down your receptivity. I'm trying to, this is very curious energy is what I want to say, because it's almost as though everything is really good and then it's not. Everything is really good, but you're still stuck. Everything is really good, but you can't quite figure out that last piece. And that's how that Eight of Swords feels. It's that the final piece of the puzzle, but for some reason, no matter which way you try to put it in, it's the only piece that's left and it's the only opening that's left, but it does not fit. And when we get into that state, we can get frustrated and then we can tear down the puzzle and start over again. Or we can say, you know what, I don't need this piece and I'm just going to have this incomplete puzzle and there's going to be that one piece that's missing. But then we don't realize that what's going on is it's just a need to shift it. So you can have a fulfilled puzzle. You can have all the pieces that you need, but you have to realize that you have the power to make that piece fit without forcing, without destruction, simply by saying, I know this is the right piece. I know this will complete the puzzle that is myself. And I know I have the ability to do that. So instead of feeling like it's always missing, I'm going to realize that I've just been wrapping it up for safekeeping. And I have all this support around me, ready to help guide me, ready to help me break free. Because that's what's happening here. When you are able to break that barrier of other people's projections and the fear-based or trauma-based or pain-based or whatever you label it as, based motivation that keeps you moving, keeps you going, but doesn't really get you to where you want to be, that's when you start going, okay, what do I need to unlock within myself? What do I need to unfold within myself? What am I not seeing? And the more that you focus on what you're not seeing, the more you actually feed and fuel the inability to see. When you say, okay, I know this is true. I can do this. I have this piece. I am this way. And you just continually accept that. Eventually that puzzle piece goes in for itself and you don't have to worry about it anymore because it's already there. You just don't recognize that it's there yet. Bits and pieces of ourselves can feel lost. They can feel as though they're missing. And that feeling of missing can push us to take action. But when we're motivated and moving from fear, we create more fear. We receive fear-based responses, and we end up locked in the desert, trapped in the sarcophagus, and unable to recognize that we don't have to move that way. We don't have to operate that way. We don't have to be motivated by our fear. And we don't have to use fear to motivate others. there is a better way. There is a more nurturing, loving way. There is a positive way if we choose to see it, if we choose to focus on it, if we choose to nurture it. So let's see what the Moonology cards say. Yes. New moon in Virgo, trust all will be well. Full moon in Aries, cool your emotions. Look at that Aries energy again. And then last quarter moon in Taurus, be proud of yourself. This is beautiful confirmation because this is saying when everything seems dark and bleak, when the light seems to go out, the clouds overhead block the stars at night, and the moon is gone, and everything is black, everything is dark. What gets us through those moments in our life, what gets us through that darkness is trust. It's trusting that you know the truth, that you know the sun will come back out, or the moon will come back out. Wow, okay, so you know the sun will come back out and shine the next day. You know that the moon will reach its full illumination again. You know all of these things. And so the more that you trust that, the more you douse the fires of fear so that you can gain clarity and a sense of peace and groundedness and understanding within yourself of underlying base motivations and intentions, and you can move forward. And every step that you take forward, when you are moving in authenticity, when you are moving out of a trapped energy, out of a loss energy, out of a painful energy of dealing with everybody else's projections as well as your own internal negative dialogue, and you're still getting up every day, you're still putting one foot in front of the other, you are still adamant about living the best life you can and focusing on what matters, the positive, the truth, and trusting that you'll get through it, trusting that you can do this. The more you succeed in that self-actualization journey, the more that you succeed in being a light in your own life for yourself and then for others, the more you find that you are honored because you are honoring yourself. So now I want to take a look at the astro die. Just as some final messages. Pile 2, I really want you guys to know that if you guys struggle with seeing, say, like propaganda or fear-based marketing, I understand. If you are a content creator or an entrepreneur and you're having a lot of issues with some of the ways things have always been done, as far as, using fear to drive sales, my guides have assured me of this many times. It isn't necessary, and you can find another way. And when you step into that state of trust, it does really help break you free. For those of you who have realized, I need to evaluate my motivations, my intentions before I move forward, and you feel like you're going against some sort of innate energy, which is common when you have a lot of fire energy in your chart, or just even in your transits or anything like that, when fire energy really takes a hold of you and really dominates through you, taking a step back is not what fire energy likes. But you're doing it, and you should be proud. And if you don't believe me, this card right here says it all. You should be very proud of yourself. It doesn't make you egotistical to say, I am proud of myself. I have achieved this. I have accomplished this. Guys, I have written and published 9 books, and I used to diminish that. And then I started thinking, it's thousands of pages. It's more than 1,000 pages. It's probably 2,000-3,000 pages in those books. I created that. I brought that into being. I brought that into the world. I created it. And it is something that I should be proud of. The motivation behind what we do when we know we're moving in authenticity, that motivation is something we should be proud of. When we say, I am moving from a state of wanting to understand, wanting to be better, wanting to help others, that's a noble pursuit. It is an absolutely noble pursuit. And especially when you endure pains and losses and trials, when you feel like you're left in the desert, when you feel like you are all alone in the world, but you keep going, you keep pushing forward, not out of forcing, but out of sheer determination, because you trust in yourself and your guides and your mission and your purpose and your path and what you're doing in this world. It is something to be celebrated. It is something to be proud of. It is something to really, really see for yourself and to really, truly give yourself the credit that you deserve. So let's see about the Astro Day. All right. So we have Taurus and Mars and the 11th house. Mars and Taurus. First of all, we have Taurus here. Mars is the ruler of Aries. So Taurus and Aries energy here, but we have the 11th house. This is about what makes you feel grounded, what makes you feel exalted, what makes you feel happy, what makes you feel comforted, what motivates you to bring beauty into the world, what motivates you to connect with other groups, and what motivates you to keep dreaming of a better world, of a better life, of a better place. Where do those dreams come from? Where is that motivation? Ground that motivation in and trust that there are ample amounts of help out in the world that are ready to help you. Because with this pile in particular, I will say that the energy here feels like there is a time coming in which many will seek you and you will seek none. But when you seek none, it's because you recognize that you are already the one. You're already the one. Wow. Okay. Wow. That was, I hope that made sense. I'm just kind of letting them bring forth what they want to bring forth, but that was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. Pile 2, I'm really excited for you guys now. I wanted to take this time to say thank you so much for being here. Again, I want to say thank you to your guides, my guides, the Great Spirit. Thank you to the Celestial Angel Collective for bringing forth these messages, for helping me translate this energy, for helping this energy to move into the collective for greater awareness and growth. And thank you so much for the collective of Pile 2, for their authenticity, their purity, their devotion to themselves and to their path. Thank you for allowing this connection to take hold, to expand, so that they may be receptive, so they may receive these messages, so they may feel and know that they are loved, seen, and that they are supported in all their endeavors. Thank you so much. Pile 2, if this resonated and you guys would like to support my channel, I would truly appreciate that. Some of the ways that you can do that are by liking this video, commenting in the comment section below. You can subscribe to my channel. You can check out my description box. Within that description box, there are links to donate to my channel. There are also links to my Amazon author page, like I mentioned. On that author page, you can access all of my books. They are available in hardcover, paperback, Kindle, and Kindle Unlimited. So please go check those out. And without further ado, I'm going to leave you guys here. I hope you have a beautiful day. I love you all, and I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, pile 3. If you chose the Gemini card, this is your message from the Celestial Angel Collective. Now, I do want to, sorry guys, give a precursor. I'm still dealing with, some lingering laryngitis, so my voice is kind of raw. I may have to clear my throat a bit. And I just wanted to give you guys that heads up. Please bear with me here. But let's get into your message. So you guys are pile 3. This is the card number 3. 3s are community and celebration, creativity. With the Gemini card, it talks about the constellation and the mythology behind Castor and Pollux. And it really does highlight, I have to give a lot of credit to Stacey DeMarco as a creator, because she really does highlight the fact that so often we focus on the sacrifice that was made by one of the brothers. I think it was Pollux, who was immortal. When his brother died, he asked to give up his immortality so that he could be with his brother. And that is how they became immortalized in the night sky as the twins for the constellation of Gemini. But Stacey DeMarco goes in deeper and talks about what came first, what led to the death of one brother. And it was from them not honoring themselves or others, stealing or kidnapping women who were engaged to other men because they had fallen in love with these women and trying to escape with them. And the inevitability battle that took place. But sometimes we don't want to see the whole picture, because if we look at the whole picture, then we look at cause and effect, and we have to look at the things that we've done that we're not proud of. This message is about you recognizing that the mistakes of the past and the ways in which you acted in the past do not define your present moment. They inform it, but they do not define it. And the difference between informing the present versus defining the present means that the things that have occurred in the past, anything that you might view as a mistake, as a wrongdoing, or as a hardship, as a trial, as a test, as a trauma, anything of that nature, they inform the present because they are the lessons. Those are the experiences for us to grow, for us to realize we've done things that we're not proud of. We have operated in ways that aren't authentic to ourselves, that aren't genuine in the outside world. And we have chosen to change, or we choose to change. We are choosing to change depending on whether this is something that you're actively doing, something that you have already done, or something that you intend on doing in the future. However it plays out for each one of you, that choice, that moment of choice, is a line of demarcation between the past and the present. It is this clear-cut boundary line of, I am understanding and utilizing what I have learned from the past in order to be a better person in the present moment. And in that way, the only thing that defines your present moment is the present moment itself and you in the present. I just heard, and yet there are times. and saw like an ellipses or 3 dots in a row. And yet there are times where we have the past defining the present because there is a part of the past that we have not yet worked through, navigated through, a part of the past that we need to go back and to essentially rescue. Sometimes we need to go back and we need to look at how everything happened. I'm a big like supporter of origin points, of digging down as far as you can to find the origin point so that you can understand the origin point or the catalyst moment and see how you reacted, people around you reacted, that interaction, see how things played out, and come back to the present moment so that you have a greater level of understanding and awareness of, well, I made a choice here. I could have chosen this. I didn't choose that. This is what I learned by not choosing this. I could have followed my heart and done this, gone to school for this, become this, married this person, dated this person, taken this job, what have you. I could have done that, but I had this other option. So I chose the other option. And I understand that in choosing the other option, my life played out this way. I also understand that if the option that I didn't choose is something that I am still able to access or to choose, then I have the opportunity to do that. And in that way, it's like rescuing little bits of yourself, pieces of your heart. It's pulling yourself back together. Whenever I work with Gemini energy, the first thing that always comes up is the perception of being two-faced, except that there are two faces, but there are also two parts, two people, two twins. Gemini is about seeing all sides of things. You see and you understand all sides of things, and people can't always comprehend that. They can't always understand that. And so you're constantly in this state of feeling like you are being torn in half, pulled in all directions, and you have to always rescue other people. You always have to help them out because you understand and you empathize what they're going through. But who does that for you? And this can be a challenging question, but who does that for you? Are you the perpetual rescuer, the fixer, the savior? Are you saving yourself? Are you rescuing yourself? Have you recovered what you feel has been lost? And this may not apply to all of you, but I did that message. Sorry, I just heard that message was a sort of challenge. Because the question is have you lost anything at all? Did you lose out on anything? Did you misplace something? Or is it still there? Does it still exist? Castor and Pollux, twins, one divine, one human, one immortal, one very much mortal. There is a part of each and every one of us that contains immortality. The soul, the light, the spirit, the essence, the higher self, however you define it. Everyone contains that other part. They are two pieces of the whole of who we are. And at the same time, in this life that we live, we often have to face our own mortality. And that is frankly terrifying. I can attest to the fact that when you are staring down the barrel of your own mortality and realizing that you may not have many years left in this world, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying because in that moment, you think about all the life that you still have to live and all the things that you want to do and haven't done, and all of the choices that you made that have led you to this point. And whether if you had made one different choice or taken one different leap of faith, or just have taken a leap of faith into your dreams, into your hopes and your wishes and your goals, into that life that you feel like you still have so much to live, it really rocks you to the core. And it's a natural thing, in my opinion, it's a natural thing to not want to face that, to not want to look at that, to say, okay, you know what? I know that I will die in this life, but I don't want to know when or how. When you make a decision like that, and I've made that decision for myself, I don't want to know if my heart is a ticking time bomb. And that's not to say that I don't do heart healthy consciousness and checkups. It's not wanting to know the form of Ehlers-Danlos that I have. Because although I recognize that I have a lot of symptoms of the vascular type, and that means that my life could end in the next 10 years, it feels more like it would rob me than it would give to me to know. When we come face to face with having to see our own mortality, it's about how we stand up and think about our life until that point and our life moving forward. I'm sorry, guys. The messages coming through are so very share your personal story. And I usually don't balk at that. I don't hesitate. But this one is still kind of fresh. And in that way, it almost feels like they're challenging me. So I guess pile 3, you guys are someone that really challenges others to open up, to be vulnerable, to be intimate, to be authentic and transparent. So when I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, it never felt right. It never made sense to me. And the more that I fought, the more that I denied, and the more that I was ignored, the more dreams and willingness to live my life, to truly live my life, eked out of me completely. When I finally got the right diagnosis, I was stuck looking at 14 years of trauma, medical trauma, of all these things that I had lost. I really lost myself for a while. But sometimes we look at something like my situation, where it was a misdiagnosis, and all of the things that I have gone through because of that. And the right diagnosis, it didn't change anything with my physical body or my physical health. It rescued a part of me that I had put away, that I had felt died. It rescued a part of me that knew that I held validity within my own body. It pulled that right back to me. And when we rescue parts of ourselves that we have decided, or what's the word I'm looking for, Spirit? We had resigned ourselves to having been gone and lost permanently. And all of a sudden that part is back. There is such a desire to protect it, a desire to keep it secret, to keep it out of the limelight, to keep it from everybody else. You want to keep that part of yourself that you just rediscovered, that you rescued through whatever event. You want to keep that so close to your heart because you know the value of what was lost. You know the value of that one thing in such a deep way. It's okay. It's okay to hold it close to your heart. And it's okay to rescue the pieces of yourself and to put yourself back together and to realize that there's more to your story. There is way more to your story. And it is honorable for you to keep living it, to keep telling it, to keep writing it. It's awe-inspiring. I just got hit with like this massive wave of amazement. It's like the Celestial Angel Collective is looking at you and they see all of you. Everything that you would deem good or bad or wrong or right, all of you. They see it all. They see your divinity. They see your humanity, and they love all of it. And they are amazed by you. They're amazed by you because you have rescued so many other people. And you did that feeling like pieces of yourself were always missing or always just gone. They couldn't be saved, and they want you to know that those pieces are not gone. They protected them, and now they are bringing them to you. It's pieces of the heart and pieces of the dreams and the hopes and the optimism. Those pieces are what are being brought back. So let's take a look at the tarot cards. So you have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse, the 4 of Pentacles in reverse, and the Ace of Cups in reverse. These are the pieces. These are the pieces that are coming back. That's why they're reversed, because it's like I'm seeing a Be Kind, Please Rewind on a VHS. It's like your story reached the end and nobody rewound it. And so your energy didn't reset properly from some situation. It's like you shared something, gifted something, or did something in terms of the collective or someone else, and they got to the end, but they didn't rewind it. And it's almost like they didn't even bother to read the credits. So they didn't even bother to see all of the work that you put in because your name is under every different role, but they didn't bother with that. And so that exterior interaction chipped away at everything that you worked for, all the stability that you built, all the hope and all the love, all of it. And that there's a feeling here, and I want to say it's like destruction, but it's more than that. It's deeper than that. It was like, it's like you poured everything that you had into this thing, and you just realized there was nothing left afterwards. And it almost feels like there was some sort of rescue regarding other people, helping other people, being there for them, supporting them, encouraging them. But it was like you were always invisible. I just heard the see-through cheerleader. It's like you were standing right in front of them, always cheering them on. And your words, your encouragement, that's what got them going. That's what kept them moving. That's what got them to where they're at. But they took all the credit for it and did not recognize all the help that you gave. And you, over a duration of time, experiences, going through things like that, no matter how it plays out. I mean, it doesn't have to be that scenario. That's just one that was being presented. It's like you know your own worth, but what's the point of living your dreams? What's the point of even dreaming if everyone else takes the credit for what you do? And I'm not talking about imitation or anything like that. I mean, like, you genuinely rescue people. You genuinely save people. And then they take what you've done and they stake a claim on it, and it ekes away at your life force. And so change becomes almost impossible because you have no stability. Everything that you've perfected has been taken. All of the love you've poured in has not been returned. And you're wondering, isn't there just something, someone who will see me, who will know me, who will understand me, who will recognize what I do for others? And pile 3, if this is resonating with you, yes. Yes, there are. More than you realize. They are there. And the Celestial Angel Collective is saying, we are here. We are seeing you. We are witnessing this. We are honored. We are amazed. We are proud. We see this in you. We know what you do. We know the cost. We know the circumstances. We know the struggle. We know the pain. We know the discord. We know, and we want you to receive all of it back. But to receive all of it back, you have to open up to a different narrative. So let's see this card here. Yeah. First quarter moon in Capricorn. Unleash your kindest self. This is not about you unleashing your kindest self with the outside world. This is about you giving it to yourself. This is about taking that first step towards saying, I love myself. I am worthy. I am honorable. I am honored. I am loyal. I am worthy of loyalty. I deserve this because I know it is part of my core essence to receive this. And therefore, I choose that. The more that you choose to step into your authentic nature, your loving nature, your kindest self, your gentle side in a hardened world. The lonelier it can be, but the stronger you are. And the more good you bring into this world, the more light you bring into this world, and the more your dreams come into fruition. All right, let's take a final look at the die here. We have Venus and Pisces in the 8th house. Okay. This is about you having the ability to love through the darkest moments, through everything, but you see the beauty in the darkness. You see the beauty in the hardships of humanity, because within that beauty, there are blessings, lessons, wisdom, ways of this world changing for the better. Whether you have these placements or not, I just want to go with the energy here. This is about a radical transformation. And instead of rising from the ashes, it's recognizing that you have endured everything that you have because you are so light. And that can feel so lonely. I have this like pressure on my chest of like loneliness and fear and brokenness, but you're not broken. Everything that you've gone through, everything that you have endured, it is for a reason. And I know that's hard to hear. I know it. But your story matters. Your journey matters. Your truth matters. Your love matters. Your light matters. And yes, you see the darkness within the collective. You see the monsters under the bed. You see the monsters that get sent out to harm us. You see that all, but you are so courageous and so fearless that you are willing to always dive down deep into those darkest waters in order to bring more light. The celestial angel collective for you, pile 3, they're saying that they want to thank you. Thank you for choosing this path in this life. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for the rescuing that you do, because they have needed a soul like yours in this world. They have needed your soul in this world because this world needs you. You are valued beyond belief. You are loved beyond limitations. And you are always seen. And the whole of the cosmic heavens are honored to work with you. Wow. Okay. Pile 3. I am sending you guys a huge hug. I'm also offering some Reiki right now. I will shoot that out to you guys if you choose to accept it. Just helping this settle, helping this energy and that pressure to alleviate. I am sending that to anyone who chooses to accept it. May it flow through, cleanse, clean, clear, alleviate, illuminate, and heal. I also want to take this time to say thank you to your guides, to my guides, to the Great Spirit, and to the Celestial Angel Collective. Thank you for this connection to the collective of Pile 3. Thank you for these messages. Thank you for this energy. Thank you for your presence. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for helping me to be the conduit to navigate through these energies, and also for bringing these messages straight to the heart of the collective of Pile 3. May they feel your love. May they feel your praise. May they feel all of the gratitude that I can feel flowing through me that you have for them. May they feel it as well. Thank you. Pile 3, if this resonated and you would like to support my channel, some of the ways that you can do that, which I truly appreciate, don't have to do, but if you want to, you can like this video, comment in the comment section below, subscribe to my channel. You can also check out my description box. In that, there are links to donate to my channel, as well as links to my Amazon author page, where you can find all 9 of my books. They're available on hardcover, paperback, Kindle, and Kindle Unlimited. So go check those out. And with all that said, Pile 3, I love you guys so much. I truly hope this helped. I truly hope this resonated. And I truly hope that you see how amazing you are. I love you all, and I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, Pile 4. If you chose the 4th card, Perseus, this is your message from the Celestial Angel Collective. Perseus has been a constellation that has been calling to me for months now. And I absolutely love this message. The card itself says destiny, and it's the card number 14. And with numbers, I always think about the major arcana. So the 14 is temperance energy, and it reduces down to a 5, which is the Hierophant energy. And we're talking about destiny. The entire topic that the Celestial Angel Collective want to talk about is how you view destiny. What do you view as being something that is set in stone in your life? Destiny it's like this greater force leading us along our path. And we determine what we want to define it as. When we talk about fate is, to me, it's more along the lines of karma. It's more along the lines of the results of actions that we take, decisions that we make. That's what fate is. We live a fated life all the time. And then we talk about how, well, it must have been fate. Yes, because we put it in motion. Destiny is that pull and that call from our heart. But neither one of these things are absolute. Neither one of these things are set in stone. And Perseus's story tells us that we can run from the things that we're destined for. We can run from them, but it doesn't mean it won't come to pass. And it doesn't mean that what comes to pass isn't for the best for ourselves and for others. It's about reframing and restructuring how we view this in our life. More often than not, I find that people use fate and destiny intertwined. That is actually why I love the word Kismet, because I know that destiny and fate are two different things, but Kismet is accepting that they are two different things, but also accepting that they are both existent and part of our path, and we have the power to choose. Perseus his storyline is, you know, a classic of Greek mythology. There was a prophecy that the king of Argos would be killed by his grandson. So the king locked his daughter up to keep her childless. And Zeus came in and said, yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case. And so Perseus came into being. And he was a warrior. He defeated Medusa. He freed Andromeda and married her. And the prophecy stood, and the prophecy was fulfilled, but it didn't mean that his life wasn't destined for greatness, for happiness, for love. It didn't mean any of those things. It meant that there is a cause and effect in life, and he was called to something greater. One of the gifts that I have that I struggle with the most is premonitory visions or messages or feelings surrounding death. And I say that because when I was 10, my dad died, and I had a vision of it at school one day, and I couldn't tell anybody. And it was, I want to say, 2 months prior to him actually dying. It didn't make any sense to me as a kid. And I didn't feel like I could tell anybody because I didn't think anybody would believe me. But then I also was afraid that I might be right. And I didn't know what to do. So I just sat and I cried. And at that time, my dad was receiving treatment through the VA for alcohol and drug addiction. And so when I was asked, I just said, I miss my dad. But there was a part of me that was missing what I knew I would be missing. And it didn't make sense to me. And then he died. And I saw him at the funeral home in his casket. And I just kept feeling like I was back in the gymnasium, having that vision. And if I was soft and quiet enough, if I begged enough, he would get up and it would be fine. It would be like sleeping, or like Snow White or Sleeping Beauty. He would wake up. He couldn't be gone. It couldn't be possible. And my child brain couldn't comprehend why it happened. And so I internalized it and started feeling like I was just cursed and destined for pain and punishment because I saw it. I did nothing. I lashed out emotionally and said horrible things like, I wish you were dead. And I didn't mean it. And I carried such shame and guilt, and I blamed myself. And I defined the destiny of my life for many years, for over a decade, based off of that interaction. But that didn't stop that gift. More recently, less than a month prior to my grandma's passing, I was driving to drop my kids off for their visitation with their dad. And I looked over at David and I grabbed his hand and I told him, something is coming. Something is coming. And I started crying, and I could not bring myself to say the words that I knew were true because I was seeing it and feeling it, that my grandma was about to die. We don't always understand why there is something written in the stars or written in our DNA or blessed as a gift to us. And we don't always see it as a gift. We don't always understand the pieces that we really are destined to experience and to go through. But it doesn't mean that we are powerless in this life. It doesn't mean that we do not have free will. It does not mean that we do not have a choice. We have so many options in this world, so many pathways, so many possibilities that we can become overwhelmed by it. And then we seek to fulfill a sense of destiny because that helps us narrow it down. But the truth is that we're supposed to work together with destiny. We're supposed to blend with it. Our free will, our actions, we're meant to be the heroes of our own stories and the heroines of our own stories. We are meant for that. That is a destined experience and life and path. We get to choose how our story goes, how we embody our destined path. I chose for a very long time to blame myself. I chose for a very long time to negate myself. I chose for a very long time to feel guilty, to judge myself, to punish myself. And it was all my own doing. All because part of my destined life here is to hold these gifts, to see these things, to know these things, to understand these things, to experience these things. And I wanted to rip it out. I wanted to rip it out because at that time I had no one there to guide me or to help me understand it. And I didn't know how to ask. And it got so tangled and so twisted. But something important that I have integrated as a truth is that it needed to be that way because internal suffering that I created for myself, it was a necessary part of my journey, of my destiny. Not everybody is going to see those things that they go through in that way, and that's okay. And you absolutely don't have to if you don't resonate with that. But for all of the suffering that I have been through, for all of the trauma and the hardship and the pain and the loss and the death and the loneliness, the betrayals and abandonment, all of the things that I have gone through, each and every one of them were pieces that gave me strength, that built me into who I am. And that makes it a lot easier to accept when you have that overwhelming sense of destiny in life, to accept that, yes, you are called to this world. Yes, you are called to do something. Yes, you are called to step up. You are called to lead. You are called to fulfill a prophecy that has been spoken over your life, over your ancestry, over your bloodline, over your soul, whatever it is. You are meant for that. And every single thing that we go through in this life is correlatable to Perseus and the heroic tasks, or Heracles and the 12 tasks. They're all just parts of the journey for us to prove ourselves to ourselves and to realize that we are the ones who choose to be the heroes. We choose to step into our own power. We choose to pen the narrative of our life. You get this beautiful opportunity to say, you know what? I know I'm destined for this. And because of that, I am going to look differently at my life and see how all of the things that I have endured and gone through and survived and overcome, all of the things that I have gained, all the wisdom that I hold, all the knowledge that I have earned the hard way has all been because it is building me into exactly who I am meant to be. And I choose to see that. I choose to embrace myself as the protagonist of my story. Let's get your tarot cards message. Yeah, we've got the 9 of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the 9 of Wands. I just heard my dreams have a vision and it will not be revised. My dreams have a vision and it will not be revised. I know my worth. I know my value. I know what I'm here to do. And it matters not how much I have endured. It only matters that I have the intuitive awareness, the psychic vision, and the authentic heart to move forward, to overcome, to continue on. It doesn't matter how much weighs on my shoulders or how much I carry. It does not matter the burden that I bear, because my dreams are worth this. My dreams are worth going through the tasks, going through the hero's journey. Why? Because I am the hero of my own story. And therefore, it is worthy. I am worthy. I've been through hell and back as part of my destiny. And now I choose to view that as support, as strength for my own fulfillment. That is what they want you to tell yourself. They want you to move with that level of confidence. You don't have to shout it from the mountaintops. You don't have to blast it on social media. It's about you telling yourself the truth of yourself. You telling yourself the truth of your strength. You telling yourself the truth of your capabilities and your abilities. You telling yourself all of the ways in which your dreams are meant to come true, because you are meant for this. You are genuinely meant to have this just fulfilling, uplifting, happy, truly joyful experience in this life. And we can take for granted that if we experience a lot of good things all the time, we take those things for granted. I took for granted what suffering is because it was so normal to me that I didn't realize my own strength in navigating through those things that I was enduring, because they were normal to me. Pain and betrayal and trauma and loss, all of that was normal to me. It was my normal everyday life. So I took for granted what it was gifting me. The same goes for excess of happiness and joy and abundance and prosperity. We take for granted the things that are in ample supply in our life. But if we take a step back and we think about, what has it given me? What has it helped me with internally? You'll find that it has helped you step more fully into your destined path, into your destined expression of self, into the truth of who you are, and into being the main character of the story of your life, the main character who always overcomes, who always succeeds, who doesn't back down from a fight, and who understands that your choice to embody that main character energy is the most powerful, destined choice you could make. Let's take a look at your moonology cards. We've got last quarter moon in Leo, lighten up. Full moon in Virgo, take inspired action. And full moon in Cancer, let your fears dissolve. This is some interesting energy because we have all three of the modalities out here. We have fixed, mutable, and cardinal energy. When you take action in your life, when you choose to move forward as the hero or heroine, as the main character, the protagonist of the story of your life, who is that person? If you're an avid reader, what character, what book character or characters, you could resonate with multiple characters that you see different parts of yourself in. What would they do? And this may seem kind of strange because, I mean, they're fictional characters or what have you, but what would they do? What can you do? How do you emulate what you have been shown exists within you through interactions with things in the outside world, no matter whether it's labeled as fiction or nonfiction or whatever? Your resonance with it exists because it's showing you part of yourself. So if you look at it that way and you think about how the things that you admire in certain people or storylines or characters, think about that in terms of this is what exists within you. What do you want to do with it? Pile 4, what do you want to do with it? What do you want to create with it? What kind of life? What is your destiny? Are you seeking someone else to define your destiny for you? Because letting your fears dissolve means that you are choosing to define your destiny for yourself. And that's why you're being encouraged to take inspired action, to move forward, to go on that adventure, to go through those tasks, to look at it in a completely different view and see your own power and authority and fulfillment in your life. So let's get some final messages from the die here. We have Venus in Leo and the third house. So we got a lot of Leo energy here. Venus did recently retrograde through Leo from July through September, I believe it was. What was your life like? What was your view on yourself? How did you love yourself? How did you take care of yourself? How did you view yourself? How did you speak to yourself? Did you speak to yourself with loving words, or did you speak to yourself out of fear? This energy here is asking you to choose. It's about your choice. It's all about your choice here. This is about you choosing to really, truly see how incredible you are, really, truly see your authority in your own life, your sovereignty, your main character energy. This is about you choosing to see that it doesn't matter whether someone says, that's destiny, that's fate, that's out of our hands, that's out of your hands. No, your destiny is a co-creative experience between you and the universe. Your fate is a co-creative experience between you and the physical world. Those two things blended together, when you start combining your co-creative experience with the universe and a co-creative experience with the world, that's when you find yourself in a state of kismet. That's when you have learned that you are the bridge. You are the linchpin, the crucial part of all of it. You are. This is your hero's journey. This is your story to tell. This is your life to live. And it is well worthy of being lived to its fullest. And I know you can do it. And so do the Celestial Angel Collective. Okay, wow, pile 4. That is the message I have for you guys. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides, my guides, the Great Spirit, and the Celestial Angel Collective for coming forth, for connecting these energies, for flowing these messages through, for the hope, for the confident boost, for the clarity, and for the faith that you all have in the collective of pile 4. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be a conduit for your messages, for your love, for your guidance, for pile 4, and for all those, that come to this reading. Thank you. Pile 4, if this resonated and you would like to support my channel, I would really appreciate it. Some of the ways that you can do that: liking this video, commenting in the comment section below. You can subscribe to my channel. You can also go to the description box. There are links in there to donate to my channel. And there's also a link to my Amazon author page. On my Amazon author page, you'll find access to all 9 of the books that I have published. They are available in hardcover, paperback, Kindle, and Kindle Unlimited. So go check those out if you feel so called. And any and all of those things really help me out. But without holding you guys here too much longer, I want to say thank you again. I'm really very inspired by this energy and by this collective. So thank you guys. I love you guys so, so much. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you at my next reading. Bye.